Tonight's episode of TWITS is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
So, church, and we're back. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Week 2, Take 2 edition of TWITS.
The show that never was.
Joining us once again from his palatial estate in Brownwood, Texas, with his 3 luxury sleds in the driveway, Mr. Mike Paddock. How are you, sir?
Howdy, doing fine. How are things up north?
They're doing good. We're getting nice and chilly. Got some frost on the pumpkin, so to speak, this evening. So,
TMI.
We're getting some football weather. Out there coaching up the 4th graders tonight. Coach 'em up brew, basement brew, and actually we are basement brew right now, but we're gonna change that on Saturday. Mikey, let's get to some SFFL news and notes. Not much to talk about other than the fact that we're going to be changing the free agent schedule starting next week. We're going to have the initial free agency segment begin Tuesday morning, and we'll run that till Tuesday at 9 p.m. So pretty much all day on Tuesday you can get your free agents in. I'll approve them then Tuesday night. And Wednesday through Saturday we'll run that entire week. We'll have free agent Friday. Perhaps the now inappropriately named Free Agent Friday, but we'll do that at least up until they start doing the Thursday night games. So that'll be the schedule. Then I'll send out an email and post that out on the site. So we're going to start that next week. Mike, let's get to the weekly rewind, the week that was. We had several close matchups. Only kind of one outlier, which should be your new team name, Tom, the Outliers. Tom took down the Commish 83-53.
That's your first Sud Summary 12-pack of the year.
Yeah. As much as I had high-scoring teams against me last year, I think I was able to fend off most of those. So not a good way to start the year for me. Thad takes out Team Fred in his initial foray into the SFFL by a count of 60-49. Very similar score, Mike. You go down at the hands of Easy E, 61-54.
Boo.
Wayne takes out Greg, everyone's arch nemesis, 63-42. And Mick by a Baker's dozen -2, 57-46 over Tim. And that's how things shook out week 1. Like I said, lots of close, low standard deviation scores there, right around the 50-60 mark. Mike, let's take a look at what's on tap coming up for week number 3.
On tap, we have the only 2 unbeaten teams going at each other this week are Thad's Rogue Drillers versus Mickey's Crazy Critters, and Thad comes in there with 1,120 points against Mickey's 1,167. But Thad does lead that series 18-16. Mickey has won the last 3 matchups to get to that point, however, so this could be tight.
Play like a trigger.
Yes. And here comes Fred's Lone Star Longnecks again against Wayne. So 49 points for Fred last week, 63 for Wayne. There's no other stats on that. We'll see what happens this week.
Wayne the Fighting Irish, looks like, huh?
Yeah. Let's hope he plays better than they did.
That's correct.
And the Commish with the best team names ever, equals MC Hammered, brings his 1,004 points against Evan's 934. And you do lead that series 15-13, but Evan has won 5 of the last 7. So he's right on your tail.
Correctamundo.
And then Tim Cranky Pants had 46 last week to Tom's 83, or actually he's still down that much too on Tom, I think, 815 to 734, and Tom leads that series 13-8. winning
Yep.
8 of the last 10 matchups. So Tom's pretty much owned Tim in the battle of the 3-letter names.
Yeah, it's the battle of the vowels, the I versus the O. T's and M's cancel.
And then Greg's Paul Rogers tribute band and his league low 42 points last week against my 54. He leads me in the all-time series 15-5, and his points are 846 to 672. So I'm looking for him to bounce back probably, and my last 4 or 5 wins in that matchup will probably be down this week, because just the way things go with Greg.
Yeah, you do the math on that, Mike. Looks like you at one point were down 14-1 in that series.
Yep.
So, got to rally and get up to 500, just like the Twins did this year. Oh, don't bring that up.
It's a long season.
All right, let's take a look at some of the records that were set last week. I'll hit a couple of the keynote ones here. As a group, we had the third highest all-time wide receiver point total at 148, and fourth highest defensive total at 61. Tom, thanks a lot. Tommy set the sixth highest total for wide receiver points at 34. Combined, thought this might be a little bit higher, but we only got 122 quarterbacks in the quarterback points in the league, and that was good enough for sixth place all time. Thought we might actually do a little bit better. I think maybe the McNabb 39-yard output probably didn't help that number. Tom and I combined for 136 points. That's good for seventh place all time. I'll let Tom do most of the heavy lifting on that one. And Tom's 83 were good enough to crack the top 10. That's the 8th highest point total in league history. So that's what we had record-wise. Mike, let's give everyone the premium password for week 3. So this is the password that you'll use starting next Tuesday. That password is going to be Seabass, S-E-A-B-A-S-S, all lowercase. In tribute to Sebastian Janikowski's 63-yard field goal, Mike, tying what 2 other kickers in NFL history as the longest field goal?
Tom Dempsey and Jason Elam.
Correct. Although I heard that Seabass is petitioning it to get it moved to 64.
Ooh.
So we'll have to see how that shakes out. So this week, week 2, right now, you can get in there with the password of BELT, B-E-L-T, and then starting week 3, password will be Seabass.
Kick his ass, Seabass.
Cam Neely. All right, Mike, let's take a look at everyone's tertiary favorite segment in this program. Last week, in the immortal words of Ice Cube, what the fuck I'm thinking about, Pooh. I gave an NFL chalk talk, which is normally this is a college thing. So of course I lost. Atlanta cruded the bed there, so to speak. And so this week, Mike, we are going back to the college ranks, and we're going to take a look at the team from, I believe, Manhattan, Kansas, your Kansas State. What are they, Cougars, Mike?
Wildcats?
There you go. Kansas State Wildcats. They're taking on the Kent State Golden Flashes. And they're laying 17.5. Kent State, I believe, ranked about near the bottom in college football on offense, and not much better on defense. Manhattan, a tough place to play. Mike, you're going to want to go ahead and lay it at 17.5 points and get a comfortable victory. Look for Kansas State to win by 24 or more in that one.
That's a bold call right there.
Oh, yeah. It's a bold call. Speaking of that, Mike, tonight's bold call, presented by Coors Light, who also, as you know, as we mentioned last, TWITS is the official sponsor of the program here. Locked them in for 3 years. Mike, what are you drinking down there?
Oh, I got something special for you tonight. I got I have to read it because I can't remember.
Okay.
Kaputzinger Bavarian Schwarzweizen. The old black wheat ale with the old pop topper.
Was that a growler?
If it was, I'd be underneath the desk by now. check out how dark this stuff is.
Now you'd have to be fighting Brenda for space. All right, let's take a look, Mike, at everyone's favorite segment, Dog of the Week. What do we got coming up? Let me guess. Something in silver and blue, right?
No, they took my advice. I told you last week that the Motor City Kitties should not be denied, and this week they're actually 8.5-point favorites. So they finally started listening to me and the Dog of the Week. There's a lot more people watching the show than you think.
Oh yeah.
So instead, I'm going to go with the team that you picked in your Chalk Talk last week. The Atlanta Falcons are at home, but they're still getting 2.5 from Philadelphia, and I'm looking for Atlanta to be pretty ticked off after that Bears butt whooping they took from the Bears last week, and look for Matty Ice to come back and a little bit of running game going on there. They'll probably win that one outright. So take Atlanta and the points.
Yeah, you haven't needed the points many times for Dog of the Week. You're in a nice percentage there, so we'll keep the train rolling there. Mike, our game of the week this week is gonna be a Monday night tilt between a couple of NFC foes. Several key injuries in this one. Most of the Giants' defense actually is out, and you can couple that with no probably Danny Amendola and no Steven Jackson for the Rams, and they traipse into the Meadowlands, whatever they call that stadium now, something like MetLife Stadium. They're going to go there Monday night. Who do you like in that NFC tilt?
Well, I haven't done too well in this over the last year or so, but last week's eked out a win with the New York team, so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go with New York Giants.
Wow, okay.
It's a long way to travel for St. Louis, and I think they still have enough running game to go ahead and put them away. So look for the Giants to win that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and side with you for the second week in a row. We're both going to take the home New York team. Yeah, I just, even with all the defensive injuries, I don't know that St. Louis, without arguably their two best offensive players outside of Sam Bradford, are gonna be able to put enough pressure on that defense. Keem Nix also might be out. Don't know how that's going to shake out, but yeah, we're going to go ahead, and I think it's probably going to be a low-scoring game. I don't see a lot of points. I'm not sure what the over/under is, but my speculation would be that there's going to be something in the high 30s scored in this game between the two. So I'm going to go ahead and hop on the Mike Paddock party train, and we'll double up on the Giants. All right, well, that just about wraps up week 2 here. Getting ready for another good weekend of football, and we'll be reconvening next week at this time. Hopefully looking at the 2-0 Green Bay Packers after they get their shot at Cam Newton.
You got that right.
So, good talk, Russ. All right, well, on that note, we will bid everyone a good evening, and we will see you all back here next week on TWITS.
Adios.